morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Lan from the hashtag Walk with Lan channel. Welcome and welcome back to our channel. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, you're building a skyscraper without a blueprint. Sounds impossible, right? But many developers try to build software systems without understanding software architecture. And that's why projects fail, systems crash, and scaling becomes a nightmare. But before that, let me share to you the presentation. There you are. Okay. So in the next couple of minutes, we will discuss software architecture, UML diagrams, service-oriented architecture or SOA, distributed systems, architectural patterns. So by the end of this video, you will understand how modern software systems are designed. Let's start with software architecture. Software architecture is the blueprint of a system. Just like architects design buildings before construction begins, software architects design how a system will be structured. Architecture defines components, data flow, system interactions, deployment structure. Good architecture ensures scalability, maintainability, reliability, and of course, security. So without architecture, systems quickly become messy and difficult to maintain. Structured design is a method used to break down complex software problems into smaller parts. Instead of building everything at once, we divide the system into modules. Example, an online shopping system might be divided into users authentication, product catalog, payment system, order management. Each component handles a specific responsibility. It is like the subsystem of the entire system. So, what are the benefits of having components? Of course, easier debugging, better organization, faster development, and improve scalability. Behavioral models focus on how a system behaves. They describe system interactions, state changes, user actions, but they do not explain how the system is implemented. An example of this is an ATM machine behavioral flow. In an ATM machine, it needs to insert a card. So after inserting the card, you need to enter the PIN. It can be 4 digits or 6 digits. It depends in the standard. Third one is you need to choose transaction. Okay? There are lots of transactions, but if you want to withdraw cash, and it prints the receipt. This describes behavior, not the code behind it. UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. It helps developers visualize software systems. Why UML is powerful? It helps new developers understand systems quickly, reduces design mistakes, makes systems documentation clear, And common UML diagrams include class diagram, wherein it shows classes, attributes or characteristics, the relationships. So for example, customer, order, product. Customers, order, product. Okay. The next one is the state transition diagram. It shows how an object changes state. Order, for example, an order status. So if there is a pending order and then it got paid, and then after getting paid, it needs to be shipped, and then when it is shipped, after that it is delivered. The next one is interaction diagram. It shows communication between system components. For example, users into website, and the website into server, and in the server in the database. This is one of the core concepts of object-oriented programming. A class is a blueprint. Example, class. A car can be considered a class, and these are the attributes. It can be the color, it can be the model, it can be the speed, it can be the height, it can be the weight, etc. Yeah? And the methods, it can be the accelerate function or the brake function. Okay, so when we say an object, it is an instance of a class. So for example, a car object, these are color red, model Tesla, speed 120 kilometers per hour. So remember, a class is a blueprint. An object, this is the real instance. Let's proceed with service-oriented architecture, or the SOA. Service-oriented architecture is a design approach where systems are built using independent services. Each service performs a specific business function. For example, an e-commerce system services. Okay. And we have the payment service, inventory service, order service, shipping service. These services communicate through network protocols like HTTP, REST APIs, SOAP. What are the advantages of it? This can be loose coupling, reusability, and easy scalability. Let's proceed with distributed systems. A distributed system runs on multiple machines but appears as one system to users. Example, large platforms like Netflix, Google, and Amazon. They use thousands of servers working together. And what are the benefits of a distributed systems? Higher performance, better fault tolerance, and global scalability. If one server fails, definitely other servers would continue. They would continue working. Architectural patterns are reusable solutions to common system design problems. Common patterns include two-tier architecture. This can be the client and the database. Okay, simple but limited scalability. The other one is the three-tier architecture. This can be the client, application server, and the database. In two-tier, client database. So we will be just inserting the application server. This is common in enterprise systems for the three-tier. Okay. The other one is the event-driven architecture. These are patterns. These systems communicate using events. For example, users user registers, and then email service triggered. Okay. And then the user would be able to receive an email. Peer-to-peer architecture. Every node acts as both client and server. For example, torrent networks. Okay, and the next one is the microservices architecture. Large systems broken into small independent services. This is used by companies like Netflix, Amazon, and Uber. And here in the Philippines, maybe it's Grab. Software systems ran in different environments. Okay, so for example, in development where developers write code, testing, QA or quality assurance, it tests the software, and staging, a replica of production for final testing. So it's like the testing environment in the staging area. The other one is the production, the live system used by real users. That's why before they will able to deploy that into the production setting, they set that into staging setting or the testing setting in other books. Production environments are more complex because they must handle security. Okay, security, high traffic, reliability, and scalability. A real production environment includes several components. Of course, firewall. When you have a firewall, it protects the system from unauthorized access. Load balancer, it distributes traffic across servers. Web servers handles HTTP requests or HTTPS request. Application server processes business logic. Proxy server manages network request. Database server stores systems data. Together, these components create a reliable and scalable architecture. Okay, so software architecture, my dear subscribers and supporters, is the foundation of every successful system. So without it, applications become chaotic and difficult to scale. But with proper architecture, it's like building a house. The systems become scalable, reliable, maintainable, and future proof. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment architecture so I know you want more systems design tutorial. Thank you so much and see you around.